that free agent quarterback Cam Newton, his guy, might join the New England Patriots. Not to worry, though, Nick. A recent report says Cam is not in New England's plans. And if that is indeed the case, I ask you this. The Patriots' decision to pass on Cam Newton would be blank.
Indefensible. It would make me happy, but there's no, if they are not interested in him now, if Cam's not interested in them, if Cam wants more money, if Cam doesn't want to play in that system, I would say it's foolish of Cam, but then it's out of their hands. But if they're not interested in him at all, it's indefensible. And I read Tom Curran's column, and I like Tom a lot, but he slipped a line in there, which is that Jared Stidham would have been the second-ranked quarterback in this year's draft. But was I dead for Jared Stidham's great year at Auburn that I missed, where Jared Stidham had been ranked ahead of Tua Tagovailoa on any human being's board if he was in this year's draft? So the idea that they would just not be interested in Cam, if they can't make the money work, fine. But to me, Brian, it would be indefensible.
You know, to me, Nick, it will be traditional. This sounds exactly like the Patriots, something that they would do. They want a guy that's hungry, a guy that's humble, and a guy that's coachable. And for some crazy reason, they don't think Cam is that guy. In my belief, Cam is exactly the type of guy that they want. He is humble, he's hungry, and he's coachable. So there's been a thought when Cam was in Carolina that he just wasn't any of those things. And here's the deal. Cam had to carry that team. He had to do all those things to just make that team relevant. If he goes to a team like New England, he can be coachable. He can be coached up. He can be put that team into a situation where they could win. Bill Belichick will have a great quarterback and a great leader in Cam Newton. So to me, this is a huge mistake not going after Cam, but I'm not surprised because this is traditionally what the Patriots would do.
Jenna, you know, at the end of my expensive haircuts, the guy goes and leaves and he brings back a eucalyptus towel. And he grabs my face and he puts a eucalyptus towel and he presses really hard. And it is so calming and so wonderful. I've actually gone home and Googled eucalyptus towels at home just because I want to be relaxed. That's how I feel with this Cam news. We've been running crazy music, and every other day, Katanik's like, Kevin, can we do this Photoshop of Joe Namath? Maybe they signed Joe Namath, and it just constantly see here. We got Cam, and then there's a 201, and spoiler alert, later on we got college players in Patriots uniform. It's too much for me. It's too much for me. It's breaking news. I am on the Stidham train. I am in a nice car. I'm in the Acela train. It's wonderful. I'm out on all the Photoshops. We can give the graphic designers the week off. No more Patriots Photoshops. Calming. I'm just a calm eucalyptus towel, Jenna.
Wow.
Okay. By the way, great idea, the eucalyptus towel. Love it. Maybe we're all missing the boat on Jared Stidham. There's obviously something that none of us see that Bill Belichick does, unless we were all right. He wants to go win without Tom Brady and show the world. All right. You do see it. You and your towel, you see it. Nice haircut, by the way. I like you differentiating between the expensive ones and the non-expensive ones. On to the Dallas Cowboys. They received high praise for stealing wide receiver CeeDee Lamb in the first round and finishing with a stellar 2020 draft class. So much so that a Bleacher Report column said, quote, Jerry Jones just set his team up to be in the Super Bowl conversation for years to come. So, Nick, the Cowboys' Super Bowl window after the draft this year is blank.
As open as ever, and I'll explain my answer in just a moment, but I can't allow what just happened to pass without response. Nothing has ever been less surprising than the fact that Kevin Wildes gets $200 haircuts by a dude named Armando, who then rubs his face with a eucalyptus towel while there's chrysanthemum being sprayed in the background, and you have to wait 6 weeks for an appointment. Nothing has ever been more on brand than that exactly right there. Don't shake your head. You didn't have to tell America your expensive haircuts. You went down that road. I just followed you down the road. It's all true. What, Wildes? Defend yourself. Then I'll give my answer. Defend yourself. Go ahead.
Nick, your barber comes to the office. You get house called barbers. The guy comes. That's the most decadent thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay. That is correct, and now I'll get us back on track. However, the key word there was barber, not hairstylist specialist or whatever you call your person
not a
who has
hairstylist.
a PhD in your poof, whatever it is. All right, now, to answer
You have
your
to be
question,
licensed.
Jenna Wolf, the Cowboys Super Bowl window is as that was Aaron Rodgers. He had to carry that bum for years, if you listen to the people in Green Bay now. So you have Mike McCarthy now, a huge upgrade on Jason Garrett. You have all this talent. You have a super winnable division. Jenna, the window is as open as ever. What do you say, Brian?
You know what? I think the window is as open as ever as well. I say it's wide open. I also think because Jerry Jones probably had some eucalyptus towels on that yacht that he was drafting from the other night, it probably is going to be as open. But I think you're right, Nick. They have just as good as a quarterback, wide receiver, running back as any team in the league. And Mike McCarthy, the quarterback whisperer, should be able to bring this team offensively around. The one thing that will slow things down is a little bit of this Dak conversation as far as him getting a long-term deal and that defense. How good can that defense be? Last year, the offense was really good. However, the defense didn't step up to the plate. The only thing that can slow this team down and allowing this window to close a little bit is that defense.
So this is, I went with Nick's hair here before the segment even started, and we went off on this tangent because I FaceTimed my mom yesterday, and my mom, out of nowhere, we're talking about how are you doing, quarantine, the kids, da-da-da. She's like, Kevin, I think Nick's hair looks great. He's got a lot to work with, and I think it's really good. So it reminded me of the Cowboys. They had such a great draft. They got a lot to work with. I think their championship window is great. It's a true story. My mom, I don't know if she's seen this, but she thinks it looks great now. It's a true story.
Thank you. Tell your mom I said thank you.
All right, let's move on. By the way, if they don't get a deal done with Dak, that is going to be a distraction the entire season. We all know that. On to the Texans now, who just exercised franchise quarterback Deshaun Watson's fifth-year option. See, Nick, Bill O'Brien knows exactly what he's doing, unless he did this by mistake. Maybe it was an accident that he exercised that. Deshaun's future with the Houston Texans is blank.
Oh, you know, I said relieving, and I'll just be totally honest, I misread the question. I thought it was the Texans' decision to pick up his fifth-year option, and I said it was relieving because I thought Bill O'Brien might forget. He only had 5 more days. I thought he might be so busy getting out-negotiated by the kid who was wearing a gas mask bong on draft day that he'd be like, damn it, I knew there was something on my list.
Wow.
Deshaun's fifth-year option, window closed. And so I apologize. It doesn't really make sense. Deshaun Watson's future with the Texans is going to be fun because he's great, but their decision to pick up a fifth-year option is relieving because I thought Bill O'Brien might forget. I screwed this up. I apologize. I was going for the joke, and I didn't read the question right. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I appreciate that. I think his future with the Texans is certain. Any team, and every team in the NFL is looking for a quality leader. They're looking for a guy that can run the football, can move around in the pocket, can throw the ball, that can make every single throw. These are all the things that Deshaun Watson could do. He's a guy that can get things done and move the chains offensively. So I think his future there in Texas is going to be certain. But I also think that Bill O'Brien has to do a much better job, to everyone's surprise. He has to do a much better job of putting weapons around him, making better GM decisions and coaching decisions if he wants to continue to allow Deshaun Watson to be successful in the quarterback position.
Yeah, my answer is Bill O'Brien focused too. I went with emotional because there's been 2 big quotes that are diametrically opposed. One's from Deshaun Watkins and one's from Watson. One's from DeAndre. So here's the first one. Here's Deshaun on Bill O'Brien. I love that man. This is after they got rolled by the Chiefs. I love that man. I'm going to play hard for that man. You can say whatever you want to say through all the media and all the writing, but as long as I'm the quarterback, he's cool with me. He's got my heart. He's going to get all of my 110% every time I step on that field. Now let's go to the DeAndre Hopkins one in Sports Illustrated article. There was no relationship. Make sure you put that in there. There's not a lot to speak about. I am shocked that they're talking about the same guy. So it just shows such an up and down relationship of what's going on with the Texans. I went with emotional, Jenna.
And that's the way their last couple of years have been, very up and down. All right, on to the New Orleans Saints now, who officially signed Jameis Winston to a one-year deal yesterday. Saints assistant GM Jeff Ireland said, quote, Jameis will learn more football in a year than he has in his lifetime. Look, I'd imagine his first lesson is going to be something along the lines of interceptions are bad. Nick, Jeff Ireland's comments on Jameis Winston are blank.
Jenna, shots.
I say they're
You're
shady.
right, it was too much.
Because he's throwing
totally.
a lot of shade towards Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich and Dirk Cutter, who came before them. The idea that Jameis